everyone, it's Alana and welcome back to my channel for chapter 10 of Sweetbriars Leaving the City. Oh, hello. As always, if you haven't already, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell so you know when chapter 11 is going to come out. And a little reminder, if you have any questions, comments or reviews, feel free to put it in the comments below or message me on my social medias, which I will link in the description below, or you can go find them at Alana Clark Question on Instagram and Facebook or ace_question on Twitter. And without further ado, let's start reading.
Sweetbriars, Leaving the City, Chapter 10. The air conditioning was buzzing loudly as Cate sat at her school desk, staring at the large clock above the whiteboard. The class was 11 minutes into their practice maths exam, meaning they had 49 minutes to finish. Kate's hands felt clammy as she flicked through the paper, and her mind was cloudy. The last two questions were tricky. Should she start with them? Cate decided it was better to get the easy questions out of the way. If she got those right, at least she should pass. As she tackled the easier questions, she began to relax and her mind went into calculation mode. When there were 29 minutes left, Cate glanced at Violet and she seemed to be finished. She was scanning her paper with a bored look on her face as she twirled a loose strand of hair around her finger. Focus, Cate told herself, panicking slightly. Her hands were sweating again. She had to finish the last two questions, working through parts A to C. She began to work furiously, scribbling calculations onto the blank paper, and then writing the finished answers as neatly as possible on the answer sheet. When she was finished, she took a deep breath and wiped her palms on her skirt. Miss Dixon's voice sliced through the air. "Time is up! Please turn your papers face down on the desk and pack up your things." Cate still didn't really enjoy maths, but she'd felt it was easier since getting Violet's help at the library. One thing she did like was that it wasn't subjective. You were either right or you were wrong. Once they were outside the classroom, Violet asked Cate how she found the test. "I don't think I'll get top marks, but thanks to your help, I found it easier than usual, despite my mental block at the beginning." Cate rolled her eyes, then smiled. "No problem, you helped me so much with Spot. I'm glad I can help you back somehow," said Violet as she hugged Kate's shoulders. Cate had a spring in her step after the maths class. The summer holidays were upon them, and the opening day was this weekend. After school, Cate and Alex talked to their mum about the opening day, as they planned to show the Sweetbriars horses in action. They agreed that Alex and their mum would take their horses around a set of show jumps. Cate would put Odette through her paces, showing the basic gaits of a horse, walk, trot and canter, and she would also show medium and extended variations where Odette would cover more ground and have more power. Beth was due to arrive into the train station early evening, and Cate and her mum went to collect her in the car. Cate felt unsure about seeing Beth after their awkward phone call, but pushed it from her mind. As they walked towards the platform, they could see Beth waiting, looking questioningly around the station and at her phone. "Beth!" called Cate enthusiastically, waving her hand. "Ah, Cate, there you are!" cried Beth as she spotted her friend and ran towards her. The girls hugged and laughed. "It's so nice to see you, Beth," Kate's mum said, reaching out to embrace her as well. "And you, Sarah, it's been so long." Mum hurried them to the car. "We need to get going, girls, as we have a big weekend with lots to do. It's so nice you could join us for our opening day, Beth." "Yes, I know, I'm so excited about it and finally seeing Sweetbriars." It was dusk by the time they arrived at Sweetbriars. Cate gave Beth a tour of the farm and she was amazed. When Mickey saw Beth, he went bananas, jumping up and down and doing a dog dance around her legs. Beth picked him up and just as happy to see him and kissed the black patch on his head. Beth had brought treats for all the horses and they gave her licks and nudges in appreciation. She loved the new ponies and was delighted when Cate said she could ride one the next day. That evening the family picked up an old tradition, Friday pizza nights. Toby stayed for supper. He had a knack for knowing when the agar oven was on. The kids chose the ingredients to go on the pizzas and they ate them in the garden, enjoying the warm evening that was complemented by a spectacular deep red sun setting over the valley. Everyone laughed when Cate and Beth moulded animals out of leftover pizza dough and play acted with them. When it got out of hand, when Toby and Alex started throwing the dough at each other and their dad told them that that was enough. After supper, the girls showered and went to Kate's bedroom. They put a blow-up mattress on the floor beside Kate's Beth, like old times, and sat on Kate's bed to chat. Pip and Mickey joined them, with Pip sitting in Kate's lap and Mickey in Beth's. Cate wasn't sure if she had imagined the distance she felt over the phone. Cate still wore her friendship bracelet and was glad to see Beth wearing hers too. Beth led the conversation, updating Cate on life in Hattersfield, and Cate was so glad to hear how her old friends were doing. It seemed like little had changed there since they'd left. But Kate's whole world had changed. She told Beth about school, Pony Club Benji, and of course her new friends Violet and Tabby. "I can't wait for you to meet them," gushed Cate. "We also have a strange neighbour that I kind of made friends with. I mentioned her on the phone. Her name is Sophia. Well, I wouldn't exactly call it a friendship. Mostly she comes to give carrots to Odette and then leaves. She said she'll come to watch my demonstration with Odette on Sunday." "Wow, you're right. So much has happened to you," said Beth with a faint smile. Cate suspected Beth felt a bit left out and decided to tone things down. "Okay, I guess we should get some sleep," Cate said, looking at the time on her phone. It was already past 11. She threw her arms around Beth and gave her a bear hug. "I'm so glad you're here." "Me too, it's been so long," replied Beth, grinning. Early the next morning, the girls got ready for their hack. Beth would ride the bigger pony, Quinn, alongside Cate and Odette. Since the ponies had been put in separate fields, they seemed to have gotten used to being apart, although neither pony had left Sweetbriars without the other one. Cate and Odette led the way to the forest, with Beth trailing behind, nudging a reluctant Quinn forward. When they arrived at the entrance of the forest, Quinn spun round, whinnied in the direction of Sweetbriars, and refused to walk forward. "Give him a kick," Cate said encouragingly. Beth kicked him, but instead of walking forwards, Quinn shuffled backwards towards the dirt road. Cate gave Beth her whip, wishing Beth had taken a whip along when Cate suggested it earlier. Beth gave Quinn a sharp tap on his hindquarters, and he looked startled, then caught up to Odette. They followed a trail Cate hadn't ridden on before that had a pretty stream running alongside it. The day was getting warmer, and the trees provided dapple shade. Beth had been quiet all morning and seemed focused on keeping Quinn going. Cate tried to keep her friend entertained by telling her stories about the forest and things she had learned since moving to Dalesea. After about a mile, Cate was puzzled at Beth's behaviour. It had been a few months since Cate had seen her, and apart from the catch-up the night before, Beth didn't have much to say. Kate's thoughts were interrupted when she noticed that the trail ahead was cut off by the stream. As they got closer to it, it was clear they were going to have to cross it or return the way they came. Cate presented Odette at the edge, and the mare neatly stepped over the stream. Beth followed, but Quinn teetered on the edge, ran backwards a few steps, and planted his feet into the ground, not wanting to move. Beth kicked him and tapped him with the whip, but nothing happened. After trying for a few minutes, she declared, "It's useless, we'll have to go back the way we came." Cate was strongly against this, as it would teach Quinn that he had won, and he could turn around when he wanted. Then she had an idea. "Why don't Odette and I walk around the corner out of sight? Then Quinn will probably decide to follow and cross the stream." Beth looked doubtful and replied bluntly, "Okay." Cate walked away and watched Beth and Quinn anxiously through the trees. Beth was saying, "Come on, let's go," as she kicked the stubborn gelding again. The next thing Cate saw was Quinn leap over the stream from over a foot away from the edge. Beth hadn't expected this. She was unseated and went flying sideways out of the saddle, landing hard on the ground. Quinn realised he was free and galloped towards Cate, the stirrupines flapping in the air, hitting his sides and making him go faster. Cate thought quickly and hurried to block the trail with Odette. Quinn stopped, unable to go further, his nostrils flaring and eyes flashing. Cate grabbed the reins dangling around his neck and said reassuringly, "It's okay, Quinn, everything'll be okay." Worrying about Beth, Cate hurried back towards the stream, leading Quinn from Odette. "Are you okay?" Cate shouted. Beth was dusting herself off. "I'm fine. I told you that a whip wasn't a good idea, though." She frowned angrily. Cate couldn't believe her ears. Without it, they would be stuck behind the stream, and the whip was not the reason Beth fell off. She was beside herself with anger, but sat still and quiet with a stony face. Beth grabbed Quinn's rein with one hand and extended her arm. She had a large scrape on her elbow that was oozing with blood and had dirt stuck in it. "You better wash that, it looks nasty," said Cate in a measured tone. "Okay, I will. You always have so much to say. Anything else I should be doing?" snapped Beth as she marched towards the stream, with a more agreeable Quinn trailing behind. "Ouch, it stings!" she cried as she doused her elbow with water. "I don't know why you're so angry at me," retorted Cate. "I've been trying my best to make sure you're happy, and you haven't said more than 2 words to me all morning. Also, it wasn't my fault you fell off." Suddenly her frustration was spilling out. "Since I left Hattersfield, you practically ignore me, and I don't know what I did apart from being uprooted from the life I loved to live somewhere completely new where I knew nobody." Beth was silent as she dried her elbow with a tissue. She looked up after a few minutes, and her face was full of remorse. There were tears in her eyes. "You're right," she conceded in a shaky voice. "I've been an idiot. I was angry you left and seemed to be having a fabulous time here with all your horses and new friends." Cate took a deep breath and replied, "Yeah, I have been having a tough time. I didn't want to sound like I was complaining, so I only wrote to you about good things," Cate said, staring intently into Beth's eyes. "I also told you how much I missed you about 1,000,000 times, Cate offered with a small smile. Cate went on, confiding in Beth about how much she had missed her last home, how hard she had found school and pony club, and how she had to do dressage instead of showing. She admitted she liked her new friends, but it wasn't like being with someone she'd known almost her whole life. Beth looked astonished as she listened. "I'm so sorry, I've been so stupid," she said, nibbling her fingernails. She added, "You should have told me you were feeling bad." Cate hopped off Odette, and the girls hugged, then started grinning. Beth had only been at Sweetbriars one day, and they were already crying. The rest of the trail was calm, and conversation came easier to both girls. Quinn was sprightly as they made their way home. He was either worried about Odette leaving him again, or suspected they were homeward bound. Before leaving the forest, Cate suggested taking a selfie. Beth happily agreed, and they huddled together as close as the horses would allow and snapped some pictures. They managed to get a photo with both of them smiling and a beautiful forest backdrop behind. Closer to home, they passed Sophia's house, and they noticed something curious. The washing line was full of red wigs. Some had straight hair, some had spiralling curls, and they were all different lengths. Cate doubted they were Sophia's, as her hair always looked the same. The girls guessed the wigs might belong to Sophia's mother, as she'd been wearing a hat the only time Cate had seen her. It was impossible to tell. Cate was also pleased to find that Beth did find the whole Sophia situation interesting. She went on to tell Beth about how she thought she'd seen Sophia lingering at the back of the property the first day they visited Sweetbriars, and it was a bit freaky. Still, both girls agreed it wasn't that strange that Sophia would be there. The back part of Sweetbriars was close to Sophia's house, and Sweetbriars would have been quite tempting to explore, especially when empty with the owners being away. After riding, they spent the whole afternoon setting up for the opening day the next day. Delivery men from the party hire shop dropped off a load of white plastic folding chairs and tables. Next, the caterer brought a mountain of food. Grandma Bea arrived in late afternoon and made a yummy potato bake for supper. Cate and Beth watched television afterwards and then went upstairs to get ready for bed. Beth had a shower and returned from the bathroom sporting a giant purple bruise on her thigh from where she fell. She laughed it off, declaring it looked worse than it felt, and Cate brought her cream to help the bruise fade quickly. It was a fine morning with a few cotton-like clouds decorating the sky. Cate and Beth fetched the demonstration horses from the fields and tied them up in stalls to get them ready to show. They brushed the dust off Odette's shiny gold coat, and then Cate untangled the knots from her creamy soft mane. The next hour was spent plaiting the mane and rolling the plaits carefully into neat rosettes. To finish, Cate needed to plait the forelock, but all the activity had made Odette a little jumpy, so it was difficult. In the end, Beth held her head still, and Cate managed to plait the forelock quickly. To finish, Cate sprayed her gloss on her horse's coat and painted her hooves with oil. The family sat on hired furniture beside the dressage arena to eat an early lunch, and then went into the house to change. Cate left the house wearing pristine white jodhpurs, a crisp white shirt, a stock, and shiny long black boots. Beth helped Cate to fix her hair into a neat bun net that would sit below the back of her helmet. As they returned to the stables, they would see Violet and Tabby standing next to Odette's stall. They were wearing summer dresses and chatting animatedly. "Hi, Violet. Hi, Tabby," Cate called out excitedly. "Hi, Cate. Wow-wee, look at you. Don't you look all fancy," declared Violet. "Yes, so gorgeous," cried Tabby. "Thank you," Cate said, beaming. "I want to introduce you to Beth, my best friend from Hattersfield," said Cate as she put her arm round Beth's waist. The girls greeted Beth warmly and said how glad they were to finally meet her. "I was wondering if you guys could hang out for a bit, as I have to warm Odette up now?" asked Cate as she looked at the three girls questioningly. "It would be our pleasure," said Violet. "Have you met my horse, Spot? I was so lucky. Sarah found him for me, and he's such a cool dude." "I think I met him yesterday. He's so cute, and I love his name." Cate left her friends to get acquainted, as she needed to focus on her riding. Cate tacked up Odette and stood back to admire her. She looked marvellous with her shiny deep caramel coat, creamy mane and plaits. The look was topped with white bandages and a white saddlecloth and a sparkly brow band that caught the sunlight. Kate mounted Odette and they walked towards the arena. Sweetbriars Farm certainly looked impressive. The house proudly overlooked bright green fields, dotted with horses grazing contentedly. The stables shone in the sunshine, and there was a floral scent mixed with new paint lingering in the air. The drive was full of cars, and new arrivals were starting to park in an empty field close to the house. As Kate turned towards the arena, she did a quick count of at least 20 people milling around. Grandma B was in the middle, offering everyone tea and coffee. Kate could also see George, who was talking to Mrs. Maygill, Kate's drama teacher. Kate joined Alex, who was riding Fritz in the arena, and Odette walked around tentatively, spooking at the new pot plants. Although Kate let Odette look at the plants properly, she made a loud blowing noise and sniffed the ground, making some of the guests laugh. Kate stroked her neck and let her look till she calmed down. More people arrived, including Ariel from school and Mans and Benji from Pony Club. Benji parked his white Mercedes convertible next to the stables, visible to everyone, including Kate, riding in the arena. A man with stylish, shoulder-length hair accompanied him, along with his dog Elliot. At 3 o'clock, when they were scheduled to start, Mum welcomed the visitors to Sweetbriars and offered them seats. She explained their plan to turn Sweetbriars into a fully fledged equestrian centre and told the crowd they would even build an indoor arena. She introduced Alex and Kate, who were standing behind her in the arena, and explained they would perform a short demonstration to show the Sweetbriars horses in action. Alex didn't disappoint as he cantered Fritz smoothly around the jumps. Unexpectedly, he had a refusal at the new water tray, and Alex re-presented him, giving him a better line to the fence. Fritz jumped it very big, clearing it with a foot to spare. The pair finished with a mock jump-off against the clock. Odette shone for the audience. She seemed to grow an inch taller, and Kate could hear people remarking on her beauty. She was excited by the atmosphere, and her movement was more flamboyant than usual. Kate showed off Odette's trot and canter, going from a collected pace, where Odette's head was the highest point of her body, and she carried more weight on her hindquarters, to more extended ground-covering variations of trot and canter. Odette performed effortless walk-to-canter transitions, and Kate finished with shoulder in on the long side and leg yielding from the centre line to the outside track. Beth had left Violet and Tabby, who were spectating, and had become an invaluable helper. She put the jumps up and brought Copper to the arena for Mum to finish the demonstration. Kate dismounted and exited the arena. She waved to Tabby and Violet, who were sitting together. She led Odette to the edge of the arena and loosened her girth and noseband. She leant against the rails to watch her mum ride Copper. Mum warmed Copper up and jumped a series of small fences, and then Beth put the jumps up higher and higher. Copper's jumping was skillful and a joy to watch. She was scopy, with the ability to tuck her front legs to her chest. As her back legs followed, they tucked under and flicked out, away from the poles. When they'd finished, the guests applauded. Mum thanked them and asked people to follow Dad, who would show them the rest of the horses in the stables. As Kate led Odette back to her stall to take her tack off, she could see Sophia and her parents standing in the middle of the stable. Kate greeted them, and Sophia asked if she could give a carrot to Odette. "Be careful with her," said Sophia's stepfather gruffly, as Odette ate politely from Sophia's hand. "She's fine. I bring her carrots all the time," said Sophia impatiently. "Isn't she just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? She was incredible today." "Yes, I guess so," her stepfather conceded stiffly, looking towards the car park. "Sophia, we need to get going to the village to check on the shop." Sophia's eyes narrowed and her face went carefully blank. She gave Odette a pat, and they left. The rest of the day passed in a happy blur for Kate. Benji even gave her a compliment on her riding. He said she was riding with much more feeling now, and Odette had impulsion. George from the Cream Cakes Cafe introduced himself. It turned out he was married to Mrs. Maygill. Toby was making the most of the barbecue and the cakes, and looked as tanned as ever in a simple white t-shirt and denim shorts. Kate giggled when she heard Toby tell Alex, "Nice job, dude." Dad had to tie Mickey up, as he wanted to jump on people's laps when they sat down. He whined for a few minutes, but then settled down to sleep, basking in the sunshine. Kate wasn't sure if Pip was aware of the day's activities. He was curled in a ball, sleeping behind the feed room, away from the noise. Dad spent time chatting to Barry, a neighbour of theirs who sold hay. Apart from hello, Kate didn't understand what he said, as he mumbled all his words. All in all, the opening day was a success, and they met so many nice people. Best of all, Kate was reassured that things were fine with Beth. When they said goodbye, they promised to be more open about their feelings and not to let months pass by before seeing each other.
And that is all from Haylin and I today. I really hope you enjoyed chapter 10 and I'm super looking forward to chapter 11. Again, another reminder, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. And also if you have any questions, comments or reviews, drop them in the comments below or message me on my social medias at Alana Clark Question on Instagram and Facebook or Ace_Question on Twitter. And until next time guys, from Haylin and I, hi baby, it's goodbye.